Our next topic is regarding block diagrams and signal flow graphs. So, ano ba yung block diagram? So, it is the pictorial representation of components in a control system and signal flow. So, from the word itself, it's a pictorial representation. So our block diagrams has different elements or kung paano i-represent ang system. So, we have the block, the summing point, and the branch point. So, ano ba yung block? A block is a junction point, and according to the gain of the block, the signal will be modified. So, our representation is this rectangle. So, each block, meron siyang gain, meaning, sabi, it will, ayan, according to the gain of the block. So, the signal will be modified. Modified meaning, kung ano yung pinasok mo sa kanya na input, for example, signal A, ang gain natin for this block is G or G of S. Ang output niya will be AG. Okay? So, for example, our input is, let's say, 1 or let's say 2. And then we have a gain of 2. Therefore, the output will be 4. So, the signal is modified according to the gain. Again, ang representation niya is a rectangle. Next, we have the summing point. The summing point is also called the combining point. So, it has a maximum of 3 inputs and one of it, so pang-apat na point is the output. That's why the maximum lang is 3 inputs. So, it can be positive or negative. So, like in this example, ito pala yung representation na yung bilog na may X, or like we call it the comparator in our control system, right? So, for example, we have 2 inputs, A and B, both positive. So, therefore, the output will be A plus B. Kapag meron tayo ditong isa pa na negative, tas meron tayong signal na C, therefore, the output will be A plus B minus C. Then, we have the branch point. The branch point is where the signal will go concurrently from a block. So, ang branch point is, it's a point na nagbabranch out from a signal. So, for example, A. Then, meron tayong branch point from that signal A. Therefore, ang katumbas din ng signal na yon will be kung saan siya nag-branch out. So, for example, ito A, meron tayong A dito. Okay? Next, we can also get the transfer function of the system by deducing the block diagram. So, ano ba to? It is used to reduce the complexity of the system. Yun nga. So, we find out the transfer function using this mechanic lang. So, hindi na natin kailangan masyadong compute. And then, gain, to find out the transfer function or the system gain easily. And it follows specific guidelines which are below. So, ano ba yung rules? So, combining the blocks in cascade. Cascade meaning in series. So, for example, we have block 1, G1, and G2. So, ang mangyayari is, ita-times lang natin siya. So, G1, G2. That's if cascade or in series. So, to check if it's correct, then, we will analyze the system. So, yung A, ang output niyang G1 block is AG1. Ito ang magiging input sa G2. So, ang output niyan total will be AG1, G2. So, pareho lang ba siya nitong nireduce natin na block? So, from 2 blocks, naging 1 block lang na siya. So, ang papasok na signal is A, ang gain is G1, G2. Therefore, our output is AG1, G2, which is the same as this. So, tama. Then, combining parallel blocks. So, parallel daw. Okay, so connected siya in 2 sides. Paano natin malalaman kung tama? Anong gagawin natin? Pag parallel, sa halip na i-multiply yung gain will be, added. So, G1 plus G2 na lang siya. Okay? So, tignan natin kung tama. So, pag pumasok yung signal A sa G1 will be AG1. Tapos, sa A, pag pumasok siya sa G2, ang output dun is AG1, G2. Therefore, pag pumasok siya sa comparator na parehong positive, ang output niya is AG1 plus AG2. Or, pag finactor out natin is A times G1 plus G2. Okay? Ano mangyayari? So, pag sinimplify natin siya or reduce natin yung blocks G1 and G2 into one block, magiging G1 plus G2, right? So, ang output niya is A times G1 plus G2, which is the same as this. Okay? Next rule. So, moving the branch point after the block. So, ito yung original niya, i-move natin dito. So, ano mangyayari dito? Sa halip na diretsyong A siya, we need to have additional block dyan para kasi mahirap i-analyze to kapag i-reduce mo siya further. So, we need to input 1 over G. So, ganun, kapag after the block, pag yung point originally is before the block, i-move mo siya ahead or after it, then, magiging 1 over G yung block na additional sa output ng original na gain. Okay? So, tignan natin kung tama. So, dapat A yung output niya. So, pag pumasok tong A sa G, magiging AG. Okay? So, pag pumasok naman yung AG sa 1 over G, makakancel yung G, A pa rin yung output. So, tama. Next, moving the branch point before the block. So, originally naman, kung nasa after ng block, or nasa output ng block, yung branch point, i-move natin siya ahead. Then, ano mangyayari? Instead of reciprocal, then magiging, kakopy natin yung original na gain ng block. And then, we will have additional block here. Okay? So, tignan natin kung tama. Dapat AG ang output, right? So, A, papasok siya doon, times G, magiging AG pa rin ang output. Again, pag move natin siya after the block, we have 1 over the gain. Kapag naman before, we will just add a parallel block to that gain, and then we will copy the gain. Next, that's for branch point. And then for summing point. Summing point is itong comparator na to. Okay, moving the summing point ahead of the block. So, ito yung original na block. Ito yung summing point, i-move natin to dito. Okay? So, pag minove natin yan, itong B, lalagyan natin ng additional na gain copied from this. So, kanina, pag ahead or after the block, sa branch point, dapat reciprocal. Pero sa summing point, i-copy mo lang siya. So, ano ba yung output? Ang output daw nito is AG plus BG. Dapat. So, dapat same pa rin siya. Dapat hindi magbabago yung output. Okay? So, A, papasok sa G, AG. Yung B, papasok sa G, magiging BG. Then, comparator AG plus BG, which is just the same as this. Next, moving the summing point before the block. So, i-move naman natin siya before the original block. So, kanina, pag before the branch point, kakopy lang yung gain. This time, maglalagay tayo ng block, but reciprocal naman yung gain. Kung ano yung gain nung block na reference point. Okay? So, dito, AG, ang magiging output nito, plus B, ang output, ang total output. So, we should have the same output. So, A, papasok siya dito, plus B times 1 over G is equal to A, let's write it down. A plus B over G. Yan ang output dito. Then, pagpasok niya dito, times siya sa G, both. So, AG, tapos makakancel to, plus B. So, this is again just the same as this. Okay? Okay. Next and last is yung interchanging summing point. Ito naman is if we have two summing points in series, gusto natin siyang pagpalitin. So, whatever's connected to the first one, kung ano yung connected sa kanya ng mga signals, dapat hindi magbago yon. Okay? As well as this. So, dito, ang connect is B. Sa first one, sa second one is C. Pagpapalitin natin, ito yung move natin dito, ito dito. So, mangyayari, kakopy mo dapat yung signal or yung kung positive or negative yung node na yon. So, yung C hindi siya nagbago, yung B hindi rin siya nagbago. So, A plus B minus C. A minus C plus B, which is just the same. So, ni-rearrange lang natin to simplify the system. So, saan ba natin ginagamit tong mga rules na to? Let's have an example. Okay, so for this one, reduce the block diagram and find the transfer function. How will we know that we have the transfer function of the system? That's if we come up with a single block na may output and input. Okay, so this is the original block diagram. Then, i-reduce natin siya. Anong first natin gagawin? To simplify. First, we have to move this branch point to here. Okay? Para mas madali. So, ano mong gagawin natin? So, if we move it here, kailangan natin maglagay ng additional block which is reciprocal of the original block na reference point which is G1. So, maglalagay tayo ng in series na G1 here. 1 over G1. So, pag tinimes mo yan, G3 over times 1 over G1, then we have G3 over G1. And then, mawawala na to, i-move natin dito. Okay? So, copy the rest of the block diagram. Anong next? So, ito na yung reference natin. So, we have here, ito ay feedback. Kung mapapansin nyo, pabalik kasi siya. Okay? So, feedback siya. So, formula ng feedback, positive, negative feedback to, G1 over 1 plus G1H. So, ito yung formula ng feedback. Then, we have here a parallel block. So, magiging, ipa-plus natin yung dalawang yan. So, G2 plus G3 over G1 or vice versa. Then, now we have two blocks in series. Therefore, we have to multiply the gains of each. So, i-multiply lang natin yan. Tapos, yun na yung magiging transfer function since single lang naman itong block natin. So, ano lang yan, simplify lang, both na merong 1 plus G1H sa ilalim. Okay? So, yung G3, lalagyan ng 1 plus G1H, tas yung G2, G1, lalagyan din. Okay? Sample number 2. Ito naman medyo mas complicated na. So, anong una natin gagawin? Ano ba yung madadali? So, unahin natin itong G4. Okay? G4. Ilabas natin yung G4. Alis itong node, itong branch point na to, i-move natin dito. Para, kasi hindi natin siya mako-consider na series, tapos, feedback lang kasi mayroong connected sa kanyang H2. So, i-move natin tong node na to dito. So, ano mangyari pag i-move natin yung branch point before the block? So, maglalagay tayo ng gain na kung ano yung gain nung reference block. So, which is G4. Okay, so, kaya naging G4H1 tong H1. Then, we move this node. Okay? But, don't forget that we also have this node na connected sa node na yon. So, bali dalawang nodes yung natin. That's why we have to input G4 here as well dito. Ito, dito. So, G4 times G4 times G4. Okay? Next. So, ito na yung reference natin. Anong pwede natin gawin? Ito is a feedback path. Negative feedback. So, we can simplify it na G3 over 1 plus G3 G4 H1. So, ito na yon. Formula for feedback. Okay? Then, we have these two na in series. So, isi-series natin siya. Ita-times lang natin to with this. So, nilagay natin yung G2 sa ibabaw. Then, if you can notice, this is also a feedback path. Ayan, pabalik. So, H2. Then, ang formula is, itong gain nito over 1 plus gain times H2. So, ito yon. Ito, nandito, G, 1 plus G2 blah 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 times H2. Okay? So, wala na tong part na to. Then, ano na mangyari? In series silang dalawa. So, itong G1, ilalagay natin dito. Mawawala na yung G1. Okay? Tapos, simplify lang. Yan, medyo complicated. Pero, math lang yan, algebra. So, we will come up with this gain. G1, G2, G3 plus, over 1 plus G3, G4, H1 plus G2, G3, H2. Okay? So, anong meron tayo ngayon? We have this feedback here, feedback path na G4. So, kanina, nagtataka kayo siguro, bakit may feedback dito? Sample na ganyan. Meaning, yung output dito, yung CS, yun yung mismo feedback niya. Wala tayong feedback gain. So, we can consider it na meron tayong feedback here na 1. Okay? Saan na? So, ito na. G4. So, yung G4, ang magiging formula naman yan is feedback ulit. So, this gain, copy, yun na sa numerator, over 1 plus this times this. Okay, so naglagay tayo ng G4. Then next, we have the series. So, lalagay lang natin yung G4 dito. Taas. Then, simplify. Makakancel kayo dyan. Ito nang magiging transfer function. Or ito na yung simplified natin. So, ano ba yung transfer function? So, ang sabi dyan, times this. So, I'll just denote that as transfer function. So, if we will both, so, ito transfer function na itong nire-refer ko is this, So, cancel RS, C over S over RS is equal to transfer function is equal to this. Okay, so, yan na yung transfer function.